What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Matthew Peterson, and we've got a drama-filled, hot piping tea type of show for you guys today. There was a bit of a feud on Broncos Twitter yesterday. In case you didn't see it, I'll catch you up to speed. We're going to lead off the show with that. We're also going to hit on the latest Broncos injury news, including Courtland Sutton, and then an interesting little piece at the end of the show that means nothing, but we'll bring it up just for shits and giggles here. But this is what I want to start today's show with. So, Mile High Huddle tweeted out yesterday a link to their article with this tweet saying Russell Wilson's personal QB coach could be muddying Broncos waters. Okay, so basically what the article was from Luke Patterson over at Mile High Huddle was a bit of a hit piece, honestly, on the Broncos, on Russell Wilson's private QB coach, Jake Heaps, and how, well, we'll look at it more closely in a minute, but how it's maybe not in the Broncos' best interest to have their quarterback bring his own ensemble with him to Denver. Now, Benjamin Albright then basically subtweeted that saying, "Guess we've reached, let's write laughably uninformed hatchet pieces about Russ's personal QB coach time of the year." Get your popcorn ready. Let's go. If you have no clue what you're talking about, maybe don't write about it. It was very clear who Albright was talking about. Yes, there we go. Burn. We got the sound effects coming in from producer Jeremy right now. So let's look at the article. I'm not going to share the whole thing with you. That would be a bit of a bore, a long read. But what about this little bit here? While some folks are up in arms over Wilson's special treatment, which includes being granted his own office at Broncos headquarters, I raise my eyebrows over his preferred QB coach. After Peyton named Hackett as head coach of the Broncos, the coaching staff was quickly assembled long before Wilson came to Denver or off-season workouts began. He went on to say, Wilson's move to bring Heaps, it's Jake Heaps, that's the QB coach he's talking about, along and interject him into Dove Valley business directly disrespects the team aspect of professional football and all but spat in the face of the Broncos coaching staff. The arrogance of Wilson to hire Heaps after barely working out with Kubiak in a minimal offseason and naming him as his personal guru just weeks before training camp began could be viewed as reckless and selfish. All right, so we've got some big words being thrown out there, right? Selfish, reckless. Here's the thing. Russell Wilson, there's a fair amount to point at and blame for. This probably isn't one of those things, though, because a lot of QBs have private, personal quarterback coaches with them. I understand where Luke is coming from in terms of just the frustration level, right? Things aren't going well. This is the worst offense we've ever seen, and we're paying a lot of money for the quarterback. I can understand where that sort of frustration can lead to in terms of wanting to find a reason, right? Wanting to point a finger, and maybe it's this. It's not this, though. There's a lot of things you can blame Russ for. This is probably not one of those things you want to bark up that tree at, okay? In case you don't believe me, Jamison Hensley, who covers the Ravens for ESPN, back in August tweeted out this. Ravens offensive coordinator Greg Roman on having Adam Dudeau, Lamar Jackson's personal QB coach, seen here in a white hat, there's a picture attached, at practice this week. Anything we can do to help our cause. I think Adam is a real strength for us. I love talking football with him. He's a real joy to have around. So this is just a little example of what's pretty widespread across the league, and that is a lot of quarterbacks have their own personal QB coach. So I personally am a little fed up with the whole Russ's team, Russ's social media crew, and his full entourage because it's not going well. It's not a good look, but I don't think this is the battle you want to make here. Now, let me know what you think. Are you bothered by Russ's entourage? This is the pinned comment on today's show. I want to see which gets more votes, yes or no. Let me know in the comment section below. Like I just said, though, having an entourage, having your own personal QB coach, if we want to just put that under one umbrella for a moment, is manageable if you're winning, right? No one's really going to care too much if you happen to have your own personal office at, practice facilities when you're just a player like everyone else. But when you're losing, and you have all this extra curriculars and entourage and team around you, then it becomes a bit of an annoying look for the rest of the team going, wait a minute, you're one of us, you're just like a player, yet you have all this extra special treatment, you get your own office, and we're still losing games? This doesn't add up, right? That's where that kind of stuff can get old. Now, in terms of whether or not this private QB coach for Russ is really a factor at all this year, no, I don't think so. I don't think him being there has attributed at all to a single loss. I don't think it's taken away from them winning more games. Russ this year has been bad. Maybe he needs more than just one private QB coach to get him out of this really bad start to the year, okay? For example, I saw this on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and I didn't bring it on the show because I thought, it's early on. We'll just hope it doesn't get to that point. But now we're at this point, all right? Someone on Twitter has been doing this wonderful chart that shows how many bathrooms Russell Wilson has in his brand new home in Denver, 12, and how many touchdowns he has thrown this year. And we're getting dangerously close to Russell Wilson having more toilets in his home than touchdown passes this year. It was a bit bizarre, to say the least, a couple weeks ago, but now we're at the point where I think toilet's going to win. I think toilet is probably minus 200 to finish with a higher body count than Russell Wilson's touchdowns. Here's my pitch to Russ, right? Let's make a deal right now. If Russell Wilson's toilets exceed the number of touchdown passes thrown by number 3, I think all of Broncos Country gets to use his bathroom once. I think that's fair, right? We all get to go use his Oval Office and just sit in his crown for a moment and then go, all right, now I see what it's like to have 12 bathrooms. Could you next season maybe throw more than 8 or 9 touchdowns? I think that's a fair compromise. Russ, let's shake hands and let's agree on it. All right, moving on with the show here. I want to race our Chiefs channel to 100 subscribers, hosted by Harrison Graham here at Chat Sports. We got a friendly wager. First one to 100 subs, well, the loser buys the other person a beer this Friday at our company outing. Help me out. I want to get a free brewski. Hit that big red button and subscribe to help me, or if you hate the Chiefs, or better yet, if you just are looking for a free daily Broncos YouTube channel. Now, let's get into some injury news here as it is Wednesday. This is the first day of getting a good glimpse of the injury report and who will be active or inactive this Sunday against Kansas City, which, thank God, is no longer in Sunday Night Football. Here are the players that did not practice today. Leading it off with Courtland Sutton, and we'll go in more depth on him in just a moment. Andrew Beck and Dalton Reisner, so 2 starters right there. Tom Compton and Brandon McManus. Now, here's the thing with kicker injuries. If it's serious, teams will bring on a kicker some point during the week, right? As an emergency kicker, add him to the practice squad, and then elevate him on Saturday or Sunday if they believe their starter's not ready to go. Dakota Allen, he got signed over from the Browns practice squad about 2 weeks ago, and like so many players, he too is dealing with a hamstring injury. Now, limited in practice, Jerry Jeudy, who's working his way back from an ankle injury. Kareem Jackson was limited with non-injury related designation. K'Wan Williams, who's got a wrist injury, an elbow injury, a knee injury. Hopefully we can get him back soon. Baron Browning with an elbow. Jonathan Harris with a knee. And then the long snapper, Jacob Bobenmower, with a wrist injury. But the biggest name, of course, Courtland Sutton. He is a long shot to play. The early signs, the smoke coming out of Mile High right now is not looking very likely he will play this week, and that's a big bummer. Unfortunately, that's just been the 2022 Broncos. Next man up, and who knows? Caden Davis, remember, he was the guy that was always first to practice during training camp. He was signed to the practice squad, then released, brought back onto the practice squad. If he gets promoted, Denver will have 3 UDFA wide receivers, Brandon Johnson, Jalen Virgil, and Caden Davis. That might be an NFL record. I think it has to be close to it, at least tie it. All right, before we wrap up today's show, we got some more stuff to hit on, but I do have to tell you all about BetUS. That is our proud sportsbook partner here at Chat Sports, and they are offering Broncos Country a 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet and enter promo code Broncos125. So, don't bet on the Broncos, but there are plenty of other things to bet on, like the World Cup. I'm sinking my teeth. By the way, I was rich with Morocco over Spain. I saw that coming a mile away. I think Brazil Argentina, you got to go Brazil, right? It just means more. It's Brazil, Croatia. I'm saying get to Brazil, Argentina. My bad. Yeah, I'm already looking ahead. Brazil, Argentina has to be the semis. So take Brazil and take Argentina to advance. All right, next up, let's get away from talking soccer. The Broncos, they worked out another quarterback. Remember, they signed Jarrett Garantano to their practice squad earlier this week. Well, they added someone else. Well, not added, but they worked out another quarterback. Does this mean something or does this mean nothing? Here are the list of players that worked out for Denver this week. And one position jumps out. It is quarterback. Anytime you bring a quarterback in, that's always going to, lead to some questions. And that is Nathan Roarke from British Columbia, Canada, played in the CFL. And I'm just going to show you his stats for a moment, and then I'll completely debunk this idea. But he had an awesome season for the BC British Columbia Lions, something like that. 78% completion percentage. 334 yards per game. 25 touchdowns in only 10 games. That's all the Canadian Football League we're going to talk on this channel. But here's my two takeaways from this. One, it's the CFL. Do not look at those stats and go, is this someone we should be looking at maybe? No. Stop it. Get some help. Two, it means nothing. It means more than, it couldn't mean less. It means absolutely squat, zilch, zero. Teams do this all the time, right? Quarterback is the most important position in all of sports. So they see an opportunity to just raise the bar in the entire QB room from practice squad to backup. They're going to do their homework. George Paton has a job to do. His job does not end when he makes the 53-man roster and he goes, all right, Hackett, that's your squad for the year. I'll see you at the draft. No, they are always looking at personnel. They are always seeing what options are out there. They are always trying to make the best rise to the top and see what options are available. Speaking of Canada, I wanted to end the show with this question. And in fact, we'll bring producer Jeremy on for this too. What's your favorite thing about Canada? If we were doing a Canada draft right now, Jeremy, I want to know what would be your number one pick in the Canada draft here. Spontaneous. I know Jeremy did not have any homework prepared for this, but what's the 1-1 pick for a Canada draft?
Okay, so we going what? Two or three rounds deep, or
you get
1, 2, 1, 2?
Yeah, two each. Go.
Okay.
No snake.
First pick, Drake.
Okay, bad pick though. I'm gonna go maple syrup.
Okay.
You?
Justin Bieber.
Hockey. I won that one. I win. Who wins?
How many Grammys does maple syrup have?
Oh, how many pancakes has maple syrup blessed its presence with? Get out of here. Awful take. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, making us a part of your day. See you all later with more Broncos news and rumors.